Okay, so the topic for today is that I'll be talking about the Ceph dashboard from a perspective of a multi-cluster and a protocol visibility over there. So my name is Ankush. I'm engineering manager at IBM. I've been in storage for almost 10 years now, working with working with different storage toolings. I would say from the inception, I have worked on Kubernetes storage, OpenShift, and a cluster storage over there. But it's less about me, more about the presentation. I'll move ahead. I think this is an agenda item for today. I'll be talking about the Ceph dashboard, why Ceph dashboard matters, the new features in Tentacle, and then we will be discussing each of the features that we are delivered in the Tentacle release over there. And then we will be having a road ahead on the future side and probably a Q&A at the end. Okay, why Ceph dashboard matters, right? I think we have been discussing that we have been adding a lot of protocols, a lot of new things to the Ceph dashboard, right? So it will be better for the customers to or the organization to easily manage them up. I think that's the main idea over there. So we were trying to provide the ease of use. But on the sidelines of it, right, we are also Ceph is a unified storage over there. So we are trying to provide a unified view to our Ceph storage. So like we have block, file, and object, and then we have multiple protocols over there. So each of them should look seamlessly and work seamlessly over there. And the last is that we are trying to provide the monitoring, which is important, right? Ceph can scale at hundreds of nodes over there. So we are trying to provide the health, the performance metrics over there, and the capacity charts over there. Moving ahead, this is just a screenshot of Ceph dashboard, how it looks in Tentacle. You can see the left navigation over there, which has dashboard, multi-cluster, cluster, and then we have higher level storage types, block, file, and object, observability, and administration over there. Moving ahead, I think, I think what's new with the Tentacle? So we have multi-cluster. I think that would be a key feature for today. Then we have object enhancement that we have done. I think that was our key focus area. Then we have the management gateway with OAuth 2. We will be discussing the more security side of it. Then we have file improvements over there, and then we'll talk about the monitoring enhancements over there. Moving ahead, I think the first topic is that multi-cluster management over there. I think I'll start with the why do we need a multi-cluster. I think I've been talking with a lot of organization over here. I think what we heard is that a lot of the customers have more than one Ceph cluster, right? And everybody is monitoring them differently. Either they have their own solutions, or what they do is that they try to rely upon Ceph to do some kind of help on the monitoring side over there. So what we try to do is that we try to build a in-house solution for the customers for the multi-cluster monitoring and management, and this is how it looks. If you see on the right side, I have created an architecture diagram which talk about 3 clusters over there. First is the cluster 1, then we have cluster 2 and 3. I am calling cluster 1 as a hub cluster, which communicates with cluster 2 and 3 to get the data. I think the central piece is monitoring. We have used the feature name as Prometheus Federation over there to collect the metrics from all the other cluster and then feed it to Grafana so that you have a Grafana view that you can monitor from a single pane of view. Another thing is that you have a Ceph dashboard where you can have a cluster switcher over there. You can manage all the resources and create the resources from it. I think, and then we'll be talking about the alerting as well, right? Alerting could also be done from a single pane of view as well. That wasn't possible, but now it has made possible. So key features, monitoring, alerting, day 2, right? I would focus on the fourth one as well, which is automated replication setup for a different storage protocol over there, right? So we have been talking about the multi-site, right? Multi-site setup is a bit difficult when you try to do it from the CLI perspective. So we are trying to simplify it. I'll try to show it in the next slide over there. Okay, let me go back. Okay, this is, if you see on this side, right, we have a multi-cluster tabs that are added on the left navigation. There are 2 tabs to it. One is a overview, one is a manage cluster over there. So overview is what tells you that how many clusters are connected, how many alerts do you have across clusters, how many hosts do you have, capacity, and then on the right side you have a parallel charts to them, right? And then on the list side, right, on the second tab, what we try to show is the amount of cluster connected, whether those clusters are connected. If those go disconnected, you get a functionality to reconnect them up. Then you get a FSID, URL, and other data around it. Okay, I had a demo, but probably I'll skip it up, leave it to the presentations only. Probably if you want to check it out later on, you can do that. I think the next is the object enhancements. As we have talked about the multi-cluster, I think object enhancements are important now because we talked about replication across the multi-sites over there, right? And this is a very great example that we have done. Why that is important is that with the multi-cluster, the multi-site has become really easy, right? From starting from creating realm, zone group over there, from doing a period commit to restart of the service, and then to import and export the tokens over there, right? So all of that has become easy. And what multi-site provides us is to replicate all the data from a zone in one cluster to a zone in another cluster. So what features that we have provided is that existing setups can be converted. The new multi-site replication could be done. If your clusters are connected with the multi-cluster, then this process is totally automated. You don't need to worry about it. Everything gets set up automatically. At the end of it, what you do is you create a bucket and it works seamlessly over there. The last thing, okay, sorry. The last thing over there is that even if you have a standalone setup over there, the tokens are provided to you right at the end of it, and then you can import and export the token. I'll have some screenshots. So starting with this one, you see the left side, there is a multi-site, and we have added a setup multi-site button on the top. So you click on that, you will be redirected to a wizard that looks like this, where your first step is to create a realm and zone group. The second is to create a zone. The third is to select a cluster. The fourth is to review your data and then get done with it. Yeah, I think this is the second step where we are creating a zone. The third step on the right, you can see that you can provide a cluster over there, and then you can tell a replication zone on the other side. Then you can review all of it, the names that you have provided, the endpoint you have provided, the user name that you're trying to create, and the replication zone over there. And in the last site, you see a progress as well, right? Even if it breaks at some level, right? You need to know where exactly it got broken. So we give I would say a progress bar that tells where we are at the moment. And by the end of it, you will see the multi-site application done, and you will see that the same zone group and zone group and realm are set up on both the sides. If you see, the secondary site on both the sides are different, right? So and if you go and try to create a bucket after it, it will work seamlessly. So no overhead over there, just you can follow these steps and this works seamlessly. Okay, with that said, right, object replication, I think the replication provides us to migrate all the buckets inside a zone to another site, a zone, and all the buckets replicated over there, right? We also have a feature where we can do a granular replication when you don't want to replicate all your data, right? You don't want to say all the buckets of cluster one goes from 1 to 2, right? We want to say that this particular bucket, I want to replicate it, not all the buckets over there. So that's where I think we have provided this feature in the UI as well, where there is a concept of group flows and pipes over there, where group holds flows and pipe. Flows tell you that whether it's a symmetrical, whether it's a directional over there. The pipe tell you that which all zone you want to replicate and which all buckets in the zone that you want to replicate. And then we move forward. You can see the pipe created over here. On the back, you can also see over here the symmetrical, which is a bidirectional workflow over there that gets created. And yeah, I think this is one way of doing it. The another one is while creating a bucket, right? This is a bucket form that is also enhanced in the Ceph dashboard. You can easily look at it. There is a good amount of text provided into it. But at the below down over there, right, there's a replication where we talk about, you can just click on that button and that bucket starts replicating, right? Not all the buckets inside the zone. So I think that's the functionality over there. Okay. Okay, we'll talk about the next feature, which is the cloud tiering. I think one of our friend, which was presenting today, showed a CLI steps of how you can migrate your data from storage to tier to a different storage tier over there. So we have done provided that feature in the UI. I think that will make their life really easy. Uh, yeah, so I think a similar kind of a workflow diagram over here. On the left, you can see that we have a cloud storage tier types, whether it's AWS, S3, IBM cores over there, but this can also be Ceph, right? Another Ceph cluster over there that you can replicate to, and then you can provide us with the a policy which is on the right side, lifecycle policy transition, and the buckets inside the object get replicated once that time is hit or the days have been hit over there. So that's how the workflow is. What dashboard has provided is you can create, list, delete the cloud tiering types, you can manage the policies, and then you can monitor the policies as well. So I think we'll go through the screenshots over there. This is how you create a storage class. You can provide us with the region, endpoint over there, access key, secret key, and the target bucket inside it. And once that is created, you will see a list view of it. This is how it looks. And yeah, I think you can see all the data that you have presented in the form over there. The next would be that, okay, once the story class is set up, right, you want to transition your data. So this is a tiering configuration that we have provided. I'll go to the next slide first. Yeah, okay. Where this tab is available is that on inside a bucket, if you open a particular bucket, you can see that there is a tiering tab over there, which is pointed in the green over there. So you can go over there and click on that button and you'll reach to this tiering configuration where you can provide a name over there. You can tell which storage class that you created on the other side. While creating a tiering storage class, you can say which buckets you want to replicate, or you want to specify like a particular tags over there, whether the status is enabled or not, and after how many days you want to transition your data from a high performant drives to a pretty low performant drives based upon your need. And the next would be that once this is done, you will be able to monitor your lifecycle progress over there from changing from in progress to complete when the data is replicated to another tier type. Okay. And I think there is again a demo over there, but probably I'll pass it on. Okay, the next feature that we have provided is the S3 account management. The S3 account management is basically a self-service multi-tenancy for the object. So if basically a Ceph admin doesn't need to create the accounts or the users over there for you to manage it. You can be provided with the account, and then from there you can create all those resources that are inside the account, whether it's a group policy or a bucket so inside it, right? So dashboard feature that are provided with it is create list or creating a listing of the accounts. Then we have adding a user to account. Then we have migrating a user to account. Then we have creating a bucket and then migrating a bucket to an account over there. So all those features are provided in the dashboard now. Yeah, and you can see the things marked on the top over there where we see account section inside the user. So if you go to objects, users, and accounts over there, you can see that. You click next is you click on create. You will be presented with this form where you can create an account, create a tenant over there, and pass all those parameters that can define how many buckets can be created, how many users can be created, and setting of the quotas over there. The next is that yeah, once that is created, then you can create a user inside a account over there. So you can see that demo user account is created with a demo user is created with a Ceph days account over there. How do you create a user with that particular account? Is there is a drop down that is given. You can select select the account over there. Once the account is selected, then you can pass a username, and then the user gets created with that particular account. One thing to point over there is that you have a account root user checkbox over there, so you can just click on that, and you will become the root user for that particular account as well, and you can manage all the other users and also the other users and all the resources related to that, whether it's groups and other things. And yeah, the last step is that you need to create a bucket from that user. So yeah, once the user is created, then you can select the owner over there. And once the owner is selected, I think you can create a bucket, and that bucket will be associated with the user and which is associated with the account over there. Moving on, there's a demo over there. Okay, last feature on the object side is that is the user and the bucket rate limiting over there. This wasn't available in the dashboard, so we have added the rate limits that you can provide for a specific bucket and specific user over there. These are all the 5 checkboxes available, which talks about enable, read ops, write ops, read bytes, and write bytes over there. Yeah. Okay, I think moving on to the third topic from the dashboard side is the management gateway. Um, The management gateway and the word proxy are there are two services that are available now in Ceph. The management gateway ideally provides you with the high availability of the monitoring or management components over there. The auth is a way to do a SSO to external provider over there. So I think I'll firstly talk about the disadvantages of the current setup, right? The current setup that we have, right? The SSO is with the SAML over there, and the SSO works only with the Ceph dashboard. So if you have the SSO setup, you can not only log in dashboard over there, but not the Grafana, not the alert manager, not any other component inside the management. So that is not very seamless. And then you need to remember all the passwords for whether it's Grafana or whether it's or whether it's a Prometheus over there. So I think, and another thing is that you need to remember the IP and port of each of the service, right? So if you are deployed on Prometheus, then you need to know where my Prometheus is deployed. If you are deployed on the deployed for Grafana, you need to know that. With the management gateway, this problem will go away. You will have a host, and then slash Prometheus will redirect you to Prometheus, slash Grafana will redirect you to the Grafana over there. Moving on, I think this is the new architecture over there. So management gateway will be a top lane over there for everybody. That is a service that can be created with the Ceph ADM. And then you get authenticated with all the management services, whether it's Grafana and Prometheus, and also the Ceph dashboard over there. Rather than using the SAML-based authentication, now we are using the OAuth2, which uses internally the OIDC protocol over there. And yeah, last but not the least, that monitoring setup is highly available after this. So yeah, I think it solves a lot of security issues as well, and also the high availability of our current setup that we have. Okay, we'll talk about the file improvements over there. I think as we all know, I think the SMB protocol has came in picture, and we have provided a management for the SMB as well in the dashboard. So you can create a cluster over there. You can create a create or manage users over there, whether it's a standalone user or an AD user. And then you can create and modify SMB shares over there. And then you have a dashboard created for it as well. Moving on, I think this is a screen where you can create a SMB cluster. On the left navigation, inside a file, we have put up a SMB. So you can click on that and you can create a cluster. The next is, I have two screenshots. On the left, you can create individual users over there. On the right, you can have a Active Directory integration, and then the users will be automatically created. On the left side, you can see there is a button called as add a file. So if you don't want to create a individual user, you can create it from you can import it from the file, multiple users, and those will be created for the SMB. And last but not the least, I think this is the Grafana dashboard that we created. And it talks about all the performance metrics over there and the cluster, if the cluster is up or not. Okay, and the next file improvement is NFS UX update over there. So as NFS, as the SMB came in picture, right, it has a concept of cluster and then shares about it, right? But with the SMB, with the file or NFS over there, that wasn't the concept in the UI, right? We want to unify the UI. I think that's the idea over there. But that wasn't the case with the NFS. We have done the same thing over there. So now on the top, you will see the cluster, and below that, you will see the shares over there to match the functionality. with the SMB over there. Moving on, we have added new monitoring dashboards over there. The monitoring dashboard, first one is the multi-cluster monitoring. I think this is the most interesting one. So if you have your clusters connected over there, you can list all your clusters, you can see what the state of it. Then you can have like total cluster count, capacity across clusters, and all the other resources that are available in Ceph. But additionally, you can see alerts across cluster as well, which is amazing. And you are notified about it once the alerts are across the cluster. And there is on the top there is a cluster section over there where all is selected. You can select a particular cluster and see the data about it. So this is available with all the dashboards now. This is not with the individual dashboards. Moving on, okay, this one is recently added to the Tentacle, the application overview. With Ceph, right, one of the gaps that I saw in this Grafana monitoring is that you cannot tell how much of my block is using, how much of my file is using, or object is using, right? So there wasn't a application or a storage-wide information on the capacity used. So we created this dashboard, and we did on a metric side, we added some labels over there that can help you identify that. So on the top, you can see that there is an application dropdown where you can select object, file, or a block, and you can see the storage of it. And if you select all over there, you can see the section over here on the left side where we are talking about object and file system and how much of it is used over there. And once you collect, once you select the application, you can see the associated pools with it as well, right? You can see all the pools that are associated with particular storage type, and you can monitor their storage and different parameters over there. Yeah, I think that's about application overview. The next one is the NVMe overview that we have added. So NVMe didn't had a dashboard. We had the management for it for a while now. So now you can monitor how many groups are created, how many um, gateways that it has, and all the performance related to that. You can also see on the right side there are active alerts that we are talking about, and how many of them are down, up, and all that related data. Also, you see a capacity exported from an NVMe protocol over there. Moving on, I think there is another NVMe dashboard that is created, which is NVMe performance, and you can see the performance of all the NQNs that are created for the NVMe. So you can select single one, or you can use basically say all of them I want to monitor at single point of time, and you can see that. Okay, moving on. I think probably this would be the last one on the monitoring dashboard is the file system overview. Earlier, we only had like one or two graphs on the file system overview, and it didn't give a very comprehensive information about the file system. So now we have created a whole dashboard which talks about multiple stuff, from how much of the capacity is used, how much of the metadata is being used, data is being used, IOPS of it, and different parameters that a user wants to see. Yeah, and moving on, I think we'll talk about what are the features on the dashboard side. I'll cover mostly the focus area over there. I think the usability is a main focus for us as we are moving forward. We want to improve the current functionality that we have and add as much data into it as we want and make it easier for the user. I think that's the idea. So we are trying to, as you can see, we are trying to ease out the NVMe workflow over there. Right, there are so many resources, so many things over there, gateway groups, gateways over there, NQN over there. So how we can create a workflow out of it is something that we are trying to figure out. And so is the other features. Another one is the overview. So right now we don't have overview across all the dashboards right now. So if you saw that we have added a lot of different dashboards over there right now, but we are trying to add more over there. Troubleshooting is something that we want to improve as well. Troubleshooting is basically focused on alerting systems that we have. We are trying to provide a why some error has occurred on the alerting side, and what is the remediation steps for it. Right now, we just talk about that the error is occurred, right? So we also need to talk about the remediation steps for it. The next is the scalability. We are working on scaling the Ceph dashboard and working with the Ceph dashboard with multiple thousand of OSDs over there. So that's another thing. And last but not the least is the monitoring and the alerting improvement that I covered on the overview and the troubleshooting part as well. So we are trying to do additional steps over there. With that said, I'll skip this slide. Yeah, I think this is how you can contribute to dashboard. We have a Ceph Dashboard Slack over there. You can contact us over there, and we have the mailing list. You can reach out to us. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.